do anything embarrassing.
Let's see.
I think we're good.
Okay, we are live. Welcome to LangTime Studio, where we're here to talk about one thing and one thing only, and that is Euro 2024. Obviously, a big match between Italy and Spain just now, but I think we have to start in one place and one place only. England comes away with a 1-1 draw against Denmark. Obviously they sit top of the group, but it has to be pretty disappointing. You see them advancing once they hit the knockout stage, Jesse.
Yes. No. Maybe. That's a big fat maybe.
Jonathan, to answer your question, this is in honor of Matthijs, who, on his way back to Germany, can't be here to watch live. Matthijs, of course, is, as you all know, a great big fan of sports and is a huge fan. He's been watching the Euro 2024, so I wanted to be sure that there was something in there for him if he decides to rewatch this, which of course he won't. Anyway, plus we had some time to kill since we've already handled the poll. We did that last week.
Did we?
Yeah, it was just at the top of the hour, just a little quick thing, but yeah, we did. I mean,
literally don't remember, and I don't remember what the poll was and what was decided.
well, just as a recap, I'm trying to get us so that we're mostly even.
Well, and I also keep slouching and sitting up, and it's a thing.
Anyway, so we were trying to decide if we were going to have roots that were independently as far back as they were adjectives
right.
or not. And we decided yes that
Okay.
we were going to do that.
I now remember.
Yeah.
I also think Magpipes happened last week.
Oh yeah, was Magpipes last week?
I feel like Matthijs was here
Man.
when you two were talking and I started sketching. I feel. I may be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to extend the deadline another week, but yeah, Magpipes. Incidentally, Bubba shared something in quotes and memes that was pretty funny. Just something. It was terrible D&D magic items, and it was the video is great, but it's bagpipes of invisibility. So the guy starts playing the bagpipes, and as he's playing, he becomes invisible, but then he has to take a breath, so he becomes uninvisible.
Oh my gosh.
He starts playing again. And then, of course, it's also bagpipes.
So you can hear it. Yeah, but what a way to drive people crazy. They can't see you, but they can definitely hear you. Like from all directions. Mm.
Yeah. All right, so let's pop this on Lexergy then. I'm going to actually scoot this over just in case we need it. I think right there, I think. I wish I could see it at the same time. I think that works. Anyway. So if you
Yeah,
can...
that shows what you need on the screen.
If you can hear the noise in the background, that is our air conditioner. We turn this on for cooling. We ordinarily keep the door open, but as you know, this is LangTime, and so it means that there's leaf blowers going outside. And so
Also, apparently, you can continue playing the bagpipes while breathing. It's the point of the bag, I am told.
So does the bag do the...
You breathe into the bag whenever, and then the noise is continuous because the bag forces the air through the pipe. According to Tethys. So
is the bag the one that does the droning note? So in other words, the note that runs the same throughout the whole bagpipe performance? Is that what the bag does?
I think the bag does all of it. You blow air into the bag, and the bag you push the bag.
No, what I'm saying is...
the bag does everything. The bag is like an external lung. I explain as if I know, but I'm really just reading comments.
No, I'm saying if you don't blow anything at all into the bagpipe, what sound do you hear? can you
whatever
get all the
you're
notes?
playing on the pipes.
Then why do you blow into it at all?
Because that's where you have to blow the air into the bag so it's stored up, and then you like push on the bag to get air out, and you just blow in as you need more air in the bag.
Really? So all you're doing with the blowing is you're just inflating.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like control it the way like you do a trumpet where you have to carefully purse your lips and do different things. Okay.
Oh. No. So the struggle is managing. George is saying you have to put it under your armpit and press on it. Mm-hmm. And so you got to manage that, and then you got to manage the pipes. And Jonathan is saying, of course, the multiple notes are because of the multiple pipes. And so the droning is because I don't think it's possible to push air and have no noise coming out, right? Like if you push at all, there's going to be at least one pipe doing something.
So then here's my question. Why don't you just plug it into like a reverse vacuum cleaner? You don't have to manage the bag at all.
I don't know.
Yeah, see, so like what Patrick is saying, if you had an air pump, you could just...
David, why don't you just let AI create the languages?
I think that's a little different.
Let a reverse vacuum cleaner play the bagpipes. You may as well let anything do anything.
This is the kind of commentary you get when you generate your wife with AI.
I'll let AI cook you dinner this week.
Oh, Jesse is very much real. And that apparently is what an organ is. How about that?
There you have it.
All right. So I don't really know if we need to note anywhere that the language has base adjectives, but this is what we should do. We should start with adjectives. We should consider comparison. See if there's going to be any new forms for adjectives when we add them to the dictionary. Then we should add one to the dictionary, and it'll be like, boom, there it is. Here is our adjective, and it's got a unique form. So I think that we should start there. Yeah.
And also Jake is asking, is this the online conflict that they've been hearing about?
Oh my goodness, that's right. I should.
And Jonathan says, I'm far too nice to murder you on live stream. I'll, of course, wait till it's finished.
Think about it. This is the last time anybody sees me alive. You're going to have a hard time.
I don't know what happened. AI did something.
That's just the defense you present. You get up on the stand and you just say AI, and then of course the judge will be very old and will say, "Well, seems
I guess so." The dangers of ChatGPT.
Yeah. Okay. So comparison. Was there anything else in the comparison? I was looking for it. So
you can take off the little activity monitor.
Yeah, it's really
kind of in the way.
Yeah. This is all verbs. It's before verbs, yeah. Demonstratives, adjectives, here we go.
Jake just did a slam.
Oh, Jake. Oh, right. Now I remember. Okay, so first, let's have a booba. The stream by Jake and Miles, our fantastic patrons. They, you missed yesterday's episode. It was a good one. But they stream every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. For an hour and a half, so it's more manageable, I think, than our stream, which I think people really get tired of by like the 17-minute mark.
It's probably also why I mention I need a nap so often.
Yeah.
2 hours is a long time.
Yeah. So, but I did want to announce kind of. I mean, it doesn't really matter because most people that are watching this, they already know anyway. But I put out a while back a survey for a Family Feud style game, a conlanging game. And we are going to have our very first episode of this, which I have dubbed Conlang Conflict. which I think is pretty funny if you know that it's if it's kind of like a parody of Family Feud. If you don't know that, I think it sounds a little aggressive. Like, I think you have to know that it's a parody of Family Feud
But
in order
I mean,
for it
if
to
you
be
think
funny.
about it, though, Family Feud sounds aggressive too.
I guess. I was hoping the alliteration would cut it a little bit, but I think it says it starts with a
With
voiceless velar.
a hard consonant, as
Yeah.
we hear.
Yeah.
One of those almost guttural sounds that makes it feel very aggressive, like, you
Yeah.
know, how Kiki is sharp and aggressive.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Whereas booba is warm and inviting.
exactly.
That's why it's let's have a booba, not let's have a kiki. Because if it was let's have a kiki, I mean that would just be the Conlang equivalent of sports shout. Just Miles and Jake having their
Exactly.
kiki in front of everybody. Anyway, so yeah, Conlang Conflict. Its first episode's going to be June 30th at 12 p.m. Pacific, and ideally streamed live. But we are going to need to test it at some point, making sure that we can Zoom where we can actually stream live to our channel.
I feel like that's where CopyCon went wrong.
I think
Because we had Zoom running into OBS and things happened.
Well,
and so
I think it worked out. The problem was when we tried to combine that with the live portion. I felt like we could do one or the other, but not both. Anyway, because remember we tried it out, and like people were watching it. Remember when we did that test for CopyCon just over there? I feel like that worked out.
so anyway, we'll figure it out before June
Yeah.
30th. The important thing is, though,
Yeah.
we have teams.
That's right. So the way that this first round is going to work, for at least for this first survey, and we'll see how this goes. We might do it again, and I'll do another survey, and maybe invite the idea for questions, because I think some of these questions were more successful than others. But that was fine. That's why I asked so many. But there's going to be 3 teams. It's going to be a round robin tournament and then a championship with the 2 most successful teams. And the teams are going to be, I think I'll only announce 2 teams for now. Only 2. Only 2. The ones that are.
Hold back.
Yeah, I'm going to hold back the third team, the exciting third team. Just the 2 teams that are going to be competing on Sunday, June 30th. And that is going to be first the challengers, which will be team Let's Have a Booba.
Ooh.
That's right. It'll be featuring, of course, the Let's Have a Booba hosts, Jake and Miles, and their alternate host who, you know, only fills in if either Jake or Miles is sick, and of course they've never been sick.
A day in their lives.
The incredible creator of one of the best cookies I've ever had in my life, and that is not a joke. That is quite serious.
Totally.
Just espresso chocolate.
Thought you were going to go with the Stefa.
That's
But
pretty
no,
good,
went
too.
with cookies. Okay.
That's pretty good too. The third member of Team Let's Have a Booba is Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan is apparently filling in July. So it is.
Ooh, oh man, it made it official. So now Jonathan is not actually a ringer because let's face it, he's pretty much a ringer. They're pretty much a ringer. So anyway, Team Let's Have a Booba is going to be Jake, Miles, and Jonathan. And they are going to be taking on the hometown heroes, Team LangTime Studio. Of course, I'm going to be the host, so I can't participate. And of course, I ran the
Otherwise, we
survey.
would dominate
Yeah,
because
just be-
David would be like, I know the answers.
Yeah, I remember them all. So I will have to bow out of this one. So the captain of Team LTS will be, of course, co-star Jesse Peterson.
Co-star, you mean star. You're the co-star.
Co-star, Kiki Star, remember?
Oh.
There you go.
I'm
Jesse
the
Peterson.
co-star.
Yeah, and Jesse, who did you get to fill out?
Well, to
Team
fill out
LTS.
the team, since I don't get to have David as my co-host, I obviously chose our CEO. And so Bibleridian, CEO of LTS, will be a member of my team. And then I have honorary, since CEO was taken, I guess CFO is the next, or VP. Let's just have a VP.
Yeah.
Why not? We don't have a president, but why not have
VP
CEO and then VP?
VP and patron. VP and patron.
Okay, so VP Or VIP, very important patron.
Very important patron.
The third member of our team will be Artifexian.
Yeah.
And so I'm apparently the only one who goes by just my name. We've got a cool Biblaridian, Artifexian, and then Jesse.
Ian. Oh, it's Jesse Pedian. Jesse Pedian.
No. No. So yes, and that is our team. Woo!
So yeah, now Jake, Jonathan, and Miles know what they're up against. But
well, listen, I didn't mention this to Artifexian, but I will say Biblaridian and I have already had conversations about how timed things, that's going to be tricky. Coming up with answers when there's pressure, that's a whole different game to what we normally do.
There's that, and there's also the fact that, like, if you saw Artifexian's Christmas quiz, I mean, that's one thing. It tests your general knowledge, your trivia, but that's not what this is doing. Of course, these are open-ended questions, and you're trying to guess
what other people think.
What does the Conlang community at large think? It's not necessarily what you think.
Also, Tethys is right. Sassafras. So it's Sassafras, Biblaridian, Artifexian.
There we go.
That's our team of 3, and I already would like to express my gratitude to my 2 teammates who have agreed to come on the stream with me, and I am incredibly grateful for them.
Oh, Sassafrasidon.
Sassafrasidon. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, I need to go get my notebook because now I have an idea for a drawing.
There you go. Right back. Biblaridian, I hope you're coming up with a list of the, when you discover a dinosaur or some other species, you're going to name them. Sassafrasidon has got to be on that list. Biblaridian, by the way, says, I am painfully slow, overly deliberate, and hopelessly out of touch with reality, but I will do my best.
And Bib, that's what makes you so wonderfully magnetic, is all of those qualities. I adore you, and I hope you know that. And yes, I am very much looking forward to a challenging conflict. And I know Artifexian is not watching right now because it's late over there, but but I am looking forward to really leaning on Artifexian's help when we get to discuss answers.
His charisma, never mind. Anyway.
What, you got lost in the charisma?
Jake says, this is where the 50 spam bots I used to fill the survey in come in handy.
Oh my gosh.
I did want to extend a very sincere thank you to both Biblaridian and Artifexian for agreeing to stay up late, especially Artifexian, for whom 8 p.m. is late. This allows us to start at 12 noon, which is a little early, I think, for Jess and I, but okay, Really, really grateful that they agreed to stay up late for that one. I mean, if it were up to us, we'd start at probably like 2 p.m., yeah.
Honestly, at like 4.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes 2 rolls around too fast in the middle of doing another project, and now I'm like, my brain is not shifting. But if it were 4, my brain would be finished, and it would work.
If it were 11 p.m., your brain would be a different kind of finished, huh?
With 2 ends.
All right. So, but yeah, I would like to kind of get the adjectives settled and get them in there so that, because like, I don't think there's any other place where we usually say adjectives are their own roots. So I would love to do that. And I want to say that I was inspired quite a bit when it comes to comparison by reading one of the chapters of Jesse's book, the section on comparison. It was so clearly laid out, so much better than anything I've seen. It's just like, it made me excited about doing comparison, where usually I'm not.
You usually dread it and hate it.
Excited about doing comparison.
Boy, now I'm wondering what.
Yeah, every so often you just run into bizarre little mistakey poos. I made a bizarre little mistakey poo in season 1 of House of the Dragon where there was an inflection that could also be used as a derivation, and I included it in a translation, and I tried to use it as an adverb. This is an equative, and the form I ended up using made sense neither as an adverb if the thing had been derived as a new adjective, nor as an adverb if it was the original adjective in the equative. So basically, I screwed up twice.
I'm sorry.
And gave it an absolutely impossible form that makes no sense. So, thankfully, it was just a performance error on the part of the character, so it was intentional. So,
yay!
Why not? Anyway, so yeah.
So
comparison.
what? I honestly, you said you were kind of inspired, which one I think is amazing because I know how much you usually dread it. But I'm wondering if that meant you already had like some sort of idea about where you wanted to go with it.
I did back when I read it.
And now?
And now it's left me.
Fair. Okay.
But I know that we have at least one adjectival root, and it is tall.
Right.
Mat. That's right. That's right. In honor of Mateis. That's right. So mat. So we've got at least something that we can work with. We know that mat is going to be tall. We also know that, of course, adjectives don't agree. Don't agree with nouns in case. Rather, used with a noun causes that noun to be in the partitive case. This is an interesting thing. Because the articles... What, really? Wow, that's some deep lore. Patrick says that technically it was inspired by another Matt who Mateis and Patrick both know.
Do? What?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Now.
Where did key and fa come from?
Now the important things. This is not perfect. This is my initial attempt here, though.
Oh.
And so this is, I don't know if you can see it there. My attempt at drawing the head is really a sassafras tree. And then the tail, I don't know if I'm even going in the right direction. The tail is what the leaves look like. And then the feet are also in the shape of sassafras leaves. Anywho, that's a sassafrasidon. And now I'm ready. Oh, thank you. It is kind of a lobed tail. The leaves are actually they look like little feet. They're perfect little feet if you look at them. It's kind of amazing. Oh no, what? You're going to sneeze. Oh my God. Get away from the very good microphone if you're going to sneeze.
I survived.
Everyone, beware.
I survived.
Okay. So now, do you want me to actually open the book to the comparative section to see if it reminds you what you were inspired by?
Yeah, because there's one thing I'm a little troubled by. We had all of these noun constructions, and so that was why the second noun that was a modifier, including the articles, occurs in the partitive, and I wonder what that means if we have base adjectives. Uh, Bibluridian says, looks like a derived sauropodomorph with trilobate crusts. Maybe a relative of Amargasaurus. And then,
Obviously is.
and
Oh,
then
I love it.
there are at least 3 of those words that I believe in my heart could very well be made up.
Okay, those are equitives and existential.
True, of course, Patrick. Very true.
Okay, here we go. Okay, we've got the mouse and the turtle. Okay.
By the way, if we ever get more than one toothus.
Okay, so one option be no comparatives at all.
Yeah.
So just a way of modifying the adjective, like having, a very or something. So then if you say like the turtle is small and then side by side with the mouse is very small, the understanding is the mouse is smaller than the turtle, but there's no actual comparative.
Yeah. That's interesting, by the way. It fits with kind of how we're like only minimally inflectional in this language. It's tending towards isolating.
Another option is to have some sort of like the mouse is small more than the turtle, which can be done through case marking on the turtle, which would be the standard of comparison, but can also be done in other ways. So prepositions, etc., can be used, and then you can actually also then mark, the adjective itself. So like a smaller, like English does. Now this one is actually the less common method. So having like the comparative ER and the superlative EST marking on the actual, in this case, adjective, is not as common cross-linguistically as actually having no comparative at all is the most common.
Wow.
Marking the standard of comparison is second most common. And actually no comparatives at all is so much more prevalent that if you read Thomas Paine's Morphosyntax, he has a very tiny section dedicated to comparatives, and he says basically this doesn't happen enough to even merit discussion in general grammar. And so, yeah, he didn't say that exactly, but like if you look up the Morphosyntax section on comparatives, he's like, a lot of languages don't have it, so there's not much to say.
This one all lists something, unless conjoined means they don't have one.
But notice how low those numbers are.
Well, I mean, this is Walls. I think
right, but Walls usually has, 200 to 500 languages in a sample, and that one doesn't seem to have. But also, do you remember looking in the World Lexicon of Grammaticalization, and anytime you look up something comparative related, it just gives you the preposition. It doesn't give you an ER form. And like, I think that's why.
Let's see. Okay. Is there a comparative construction that includes a form that elsewhere means surpass? Okay, so absent there. I don't know if Graham-Bank is going to be the most useful for this because the negative could mean it's just something else. Is there a comparative that employs a marker standard or elsewhere has a locational meaning? Absent. clauses.
Oh, Jonathan, you say, oh no, your password. What, did we show a password somewhere?
What?
I hope not. Oh no, Jonathan just made a comment saying, oh no, your password. Oh, Jonathan says it was a notification that said a password was compromised.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't show anything.
Okay, wow.
What is this one?
Bound comparative degree marker on the property word.
Okay, so that would be like the ER.
Yeah.
And that one, it was mostly absent, right?
Yeah, is there a non-bound? Also mostly absent. So I guess if you combine those two, can you use the Grandbank map to combine two features? How do you do that?
It is.
I'm going to try to get this in frame for you.
Okay, just a second. Okay, so when you do something, it will combine them.
Is it the values thing up at the top?
Oh, here, right here. Do you see you may combine this variable with a different variable?
Right. Okay.
And so you need to know what number you want to combine it with.
Oh, yeah, that would have been useful to get.
Which one are you on? The non-bound?
Yes.
Okay, then you want 275 for bound. And then it compiles the two together.
How do I interpret this?
Well, this is, both are zeros. One is 0, one is 1, one is 0. So it's like whatever the first one is. Sorry, I didn't. Like it shows you all the combinatoric possibilities. So a lot are question marks, obviously. 0, 0 would mean both are absent.
650.
And then I don't know which one goes. I'm thinking non-bound is the first one, so this would be no non-bound, yes bound.
I think it's the other way around. Why wouldn't it tell you? Who made this? My goodness. No, you're right. The first one, is there a non-bound comparative degree marker? Okay, so then no, there isn't a non-bound comparative degree marker, but there is a bound comparative degree marker is 208. The opposite of that is 356.
Actually, though, I feel like, yeah, 1 is present, 0 is absent. Okay, yeah. And then you can expand the plus signs to the left, allow you to see the languages that fall into that category.
Ooh.
But yeah, out of all the languages, I mean, there are.
There's Tsev.
The bound ones are the least common.
Mm-hmm.
Non-bound, slightly more common. But the most common is to have neither. So specific to marking the property word, so the thing being compared, in this case, small was the example. So having like more small would be non-bound, smaller would be bound. Having neither of those is the most common.
Okay. Well, that certainly gives us something to think about. Why is sniff right there? It's a weird thing, weird place for it to be. But
So that though, because there were several grammars that I was trying to consult, and as I was trying to find examples of comparatives, it was really, really difficult because, again, the number of languages that just don't have either. And so when you're documenting the language, if it doesn't have it, there's no examples of how it doesn't have it. They just say there isn't one. And so then you have to go find examples where it's like, oh, in English, this would be translated with a comparative. And so that was incredibly difficult. And so the examples I did end up getting were from a story, and that's like the turtle went and got big, and then later it says it got really huge to mean it got bigger. And so.
Yeah. So, I think this is certainly a case where the language you speak ends up influencing the conlangs that you produce a bit too much. Because, of course, I think most conlangers would be familiar with that there could be languages without comparatives. But, man, ask most of them, is that which one's more common? Wow. So here is my initial thought. If we go without a specific comparative strategy, I like the idea of using an old word for big just as an intensifier.
Because then it could be like big something as like a very, like it's big, tall. It's big, small, which is funny, but like, big time, small.
There's an incredible Simpsons joke in an episode where they were doing a parody of Huckleberry Finn, and they're in a riverboat with gambling, and somebody said, the word cheat on accident, and then there was something like, you calling me a cheat, and everybody is pulling out the Derringer, which is a very small little pistol. And then, something happens, and then it ensues, and suddenly everybody starts firing these Derringers at each other. And Bart and Nelson are at the bar sitting there, and are actually getting shot with Derringers, but they're just bouncing off them. And one of them says, "Man, them Derringers are weak." And the other one says, "Powerful weak."
Exactly. And Jake, it does get left out a lot, which is why on the Grand Bank, the biggest result was that both were question marks. And that means when there's a question mark in the Grand Bank feature list, that means it's not in the grammar explicitly. And so there's no way to answer it, one way or another based on documentation.
Yeah.
And so
they see, Jake mentions that it's not in the main Quechua grammar I use, but there is a regular construction. It's just not considered particularly salient. And I think what this shows is that, Quechua speakers, they just don't, they're just not as competitive as English speakers. And it has to do with the fact that, English speakers are capitalist and therefore need a comparative construction. See? And it's I guess it's an open question. Is it English that actually makes us capitalists? I think it might be.
That is obviously the answer. Yeah. And Jonathan, I think, says salient the same way I do.
What? It's not salient?
I have never heard it that way until...
Let's take a look.
Let's
take a look.
A whiff, Danielle. That was more like a... What is an overwhelming?
Ooh.
What would an overwhelming whiff be? Much more than a whiff of wharf. And just in case you didn't know, that was David being sarcastic.
Yeah.
We are by no means saying English actually does anything of the sort. However, what is David learning? That it is indeed salient.
It's salient. The only other pronunciation offered is Australian. I'm probably not going to do that right. Salient. How do you... Salient.
I mean, I think that's about as close as I would ever get.
Salient. Anyway,
No, not that. That was.
it's like it's not supposed to be salient. It's supposed to be salient, pronounced with an Australian accent. And what they're offering is for that.
Salient.
Say,
Yeah.
salient.
That's too much going on back here.
Well, I think this just shows that this is a terrible IPA transcription.
The important thing is
Yeah.
salient is not a word. He's solvent
Mulder
with
and
the
Sculliant.
salient.
No, wait, yeah. No, that would be Mulder and Sculliant, wouldn't it?
Salient. Vowels are terrible.
They are terrible.
Indeed.
All right, so I guess then what we should probably do is, if we wanted to do this, let's set up a series of sentences that we might need to translate and figure out how we are going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Better call Salient.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I was now looking at examples again. And remembering how hard it was to find all these. Okay.
Okay.
I was copying David, but I'm not going to do that sound.
Why not? It's kind of a fun one. It feels good.
Well, sure, but I don't think it sounds good on the other end.
Maybe. So this does get us back to the initial thing that I was worrying about. So we have going way back to this. Remember when we were initially kind of coming up with this? I guess we had envisioned adjectives being used with partitives. And I suppose then it might be the case, all right, we have basic adjectives, but they could be zero derived into nouns, maybe? In which case, is there anything other than just semantics that would distinguish adjectives? The reason why I wanted to jump to comparison was because if we had unique comparative forms, that would distinguish it from nouns. But I guess it's either that or adverbs. So tall isn't a great adverb. I mean, you could do it. He stood tallly. Can you say that in English?
I'm going to say no, but only because we don't like to write 3 L's.
Just he stood tall.
And Tally would obviously be tally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to stand tally is just an expression that means to be counted.
Or to be a witch, because Tally is a witch in Motherland Fort Salem.
Sure, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. So adverb is another. If we create another adjective, so we got mot for tall, another adjective that is commonly used as.
Well, I mean, like fast.
Fast.
Because then you can have. Like the fast turtle versus the turtle ran fast. Or fastly. Mm-hmm. You can use quick if you don't want to avoid the fact that English has some adjectives that can be used as adverbs, but not all.
Let's at least just write these things down so we have a place where they can be referred to. All right, so adjectives, we have mot becomes mot, means tall. You want to throw something out for fast?
Goodness, it moved on me. Every single time. Can we have consonant clusters? I am forgetful. No. Okay, so CVC is the largest.
Yeah.
Okay. Souk.
That sounds good. Pretty sure that doesn't change.
That is my job.
Mm-hmm. Let's just throw that in the change-o-matic. Double check. And indeed, it doesn't change. Sook. Okay. Too late. All right, so we got those. And let's... okay, let's just write adjective follows. Adjectives follow the nouns they modify, but do not agree with their modified nouns in case. Okay, so let's just do these examples really quick because that's easy. Okay. Sale. Salimat. Quick. I'm sorry, the tall beaver. Salisuk. Quick beaver. And then I do want to throw in just a little reminder. Articles will follow the entire noun phrase when a noun is modified by an article. Okay. So Saleh is beaver, and then remind me of our two articles.
Q and ho, but they
Ki and fa.
They change.
What do they mean?
Well, like here up above, we have salut ki and then salut ho.
Those are combination ones, though.
Well, I thought they would be in combination with the beaver still.
Hold on a sec.
Well, they're here somewhere in the document. Here, ki is stick, fa is bundle.
So that's singulative.
Singulative and palco.
Let's do Sali ki a beaver and Salifa is some beavers. Now we'll do all of those with mat. I think it's matu.
Because it would be with U voiceless L is the partitive.
The adjective will occur in the partitive case in this instance. Okay, so I think it's matu, right?
I would need to look it up.
I mean, we've got it in the... Yep.
Oh, sure. Okay, so I'm thinking, if the entire thing needed to be in the partitive, then the article would also be in the partitive. If it's not in the partitive, then like a tall beaver chews grass versus a beaver chews tall grass. A tall grass.
Do you want articles or not?
Well, I'm trying to use it with articles to show the effect. Like, we can tell that this whole noun phrase is not partitive because the key in fa.
Yeah.
Is that correct? That's, I guess, what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, if it co-occurs with a postposition that requires the partitive, then the key or fa would become partitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
Dark Horse? Oh my goodness.
Oh, Dark Horse. Oh my gosh.
Welcome back, Dark Horse.
Holy
oh my
smoke.
God, we need Kopiko celebrate.
Yeah,
Dark Horse is here.
we need to take a little pause because I wanted to show you something, Dark Horse. Oh shoot, how can I get to this?
Well, you're gonna have to blank things out if
Yeah,
you're.
I think I'm gonna have to blank things out. Give me just a second. But yeah, I want to show you something, Dark Horse. Let's see. No base. There we go. So, the kind of irony is that when you stopped following along, that was when we started getting to the more world building stuff, at least in the patron live streams, because we needed the language done in order to start doing that. And so we went through and we named we did all of the names for all the classes, but we also came up with names for some of the characters, and of course I pulled up the wrong one.
Oh, you needed.
No, wait. Oh, no. This is the one I need because it was a class. It wasn't a name. It was a class. But we named one of the characters, or their class name for the rabbits is Kalbiniki, which is tooth eater. So in other words, the rabbit's most powerful warrior has taken as a nickname for himself the tooth eater. Anyway, we were always a big fan of that idea, so I was very happy to be able to incorporate it. Anyway, so yeah, we'll take a pause here and enjoy a Kopiko as Jessie continues to elaborate or add some detail to her sassafrasidon. Anyway, so cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Ooh, and Magpie has Kopiko again. Yay!
Hey.
And Magpie understood. I don't know if you know this, but David and I almost always perpetually have not fully functioning hands.
Yep.
Cheers.
Kopiko, Dark Horse, this one's for you. Oh. Anyway, so to just kind of do a small little recap, we're doing, hey Logan, we're doing, this is little Logan's, this is your time mark, essentially. So this is how long it took you to catch up to the point where you were in chat and we said hi to you. Anyway, we're doing, this is for the first expansion. We have done the first classes and first animal kingdoms for the base, and I've been testing it, play testing it. In some ways, it's been very successful and has been what I want, and in other ways, it needs improvement. But
oh, we played a game. My team won.
Yeah.
My team, and by me, I was my whole team, but I was just mice.
Yeah. And Jessie was over there saying, the magic users are too powerful. They're overpowered.
You know how
Then
hard my
Jessie
mice had to
wins.
fight? Yeah. The lack of respect where people should cower in front of the tanks, and they just don't.
So these, the beavers, and the foxes are going to be the first expansion. And the class associated with the beavers is engineers, and the class associated with the foxes are the gamblers. And the engineers, by the way, so I think Jesse was a little surprised by the fact that originally the tanks were overpowered. They were. Mm. And so I removed their ability to repair their durability, which, of course, when they get 3 durability hits, they're essentially out. Jesse was surprised by this, but yeah, I eliminated that early on. Engineers can repair.
So if I had a beaver and a mouse driving a tank, the beaver could come over and repair it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And of course, there will also be a mouse engineer in the expansion. Mm. I mean, there had to be. Mm-hmm. There's going to be so beaver engineers, but then there's a mouse engineer and there's a cat engineer, which is interesting because the cats don't have tanks to repair it. But of course, you know.
Dark Horse is suggesting we translate the beaver song from How I Met Your Mother.
I don't remember that.
It's Robin Sparkles and her friend Jessica. What was her name? Glitter or something? Anyway, and they actually have a little...
Oh, yeah, I remember this now.
I'm not going to play it, but like I was hoping to get like an image. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And Alan Thicke is, of course, there.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, and then, of course, there's the great Robin Sparkles retrospective featuring Dave Coulier, who is, of course, not Canadian.
Close enough. And yeah, Jake, I will say the rabbits died first in our game, and David was the rabbits, and he did make a vital error, and so part of that was on him, but part of me is worried that our little rabbits, like, next time I'll play the rabbits and see if they're underpowered or if David just didn't power them.
I didn't play smart. Part of that was kind of on purpose. You know, I didn't want to just womp all over everybody. But it was actually the exact same problem as the game played in London. You can't just, even though you were able to move across the board a lot more quickly than everybody else, it's often not wise to take one unit and race up to the enemy ahead of everybody else. And then do a successful attack that does 1 damage.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So yeah, I guess these... this is kind of weird, though, because it comes back to, well, how are these things not just nouns? If you could zero-derive adjectives into nouns. Exactly, Dark Horse. That is basically exactly it. Good old Leroy Jenkins. I can't tell you how disappointed I was when I found out that was like a sketch, that it wasn't real. Because the first time I saw it, and for quite a long time afterwards, I just assumed it was. I assumed it was just a guild run and that they were just filming it, and that happened. Yeah, all right.
You know what? That's an interesting... Jake brings up something that I'm gonna just put right here as a little pin in it. Mm-hmm. One of the special powers of one of the animals might be that they can go back out of the play area for a turn, but only 1 turn. Sort of like how the cats come back, but only once. This animal could like go hide in the forest, but can only do that once, so they can't just keep retreating out of gameplay. But it could give them a chance to escape an enemy for just long enough that they can come back in and surprise them at some point.
You're basically trying to make it so that this game leads to fights.
What do you mean?
I'm just imagining somebody, coming in, attacking, jumping off the board.
But they can only do it once, and if that's what they choose for their one time. Anyway.
Well, the thing is, Logan, we voted on having distinct adjectives. Our patrons did.
So when you say that you can zero derive adjectives into nouns, effectively what you're saying is like we could just say tall chews the grass.
Yeah, and it's interpreted as a tall one.
But why does that have to be the case?
What do you mean?
Why can't we have a generic noun that has to be used as a stand-in if you don't want to keep saying the same noun, kind of like one in English?
Well, because it, based on the logic of the construction, like the way that these whole things work and the reason you're using the partitive with it, it's like you start with the beaver, and then it's like of the beaver, the tall one. And then if you're using an article, like of the beaver, the tall one, and of the tall beaver, this one,
Well, that's how we currently have it treated, but we're also basing that on very early brainstorms before we ever had any votes about what adjectives would be like.
Yeah. We just need one clear distinction. So yes, it could be that. It could be that.
Ooh.
Kind of like that. I kind of like that. But before we settle on that, I want to talk about adverbs. We can delete this. Adjective placement is pretty simple there.
So I think I got a little bit behind on what you were saying. My brain was not catching up fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you kind of like?
Having some sort of generic noun.
Oh, okay.
But I really would like there to be some difference between adjectives and nouns, not for any a priori reason, but to honor the poll that was just done, where we're going to have distinct noun and adjective roots. I think in order to honor the spirit of that poll, there must be some key way that adjectives and nouns are different. And so it could be adverbs. Okay, let's do, okay, here we go, the beaver is chewing the grass. So that's the beaver is chewing the grass. We have an adjective that means fast or quick. The beaver is chewing the grass quickly. Okay.
And this would be suk. Okay. And tutuna. Odasing is the grass, right? With the postposition that is required for the objects.
Jake, that's kind of what we're getting at right now. I'm going to go ahead and set aside the notion that language could have a separate adjective for fast or like a noun that means a fast one. because that's an interesting idea. But I want to set that aside for the moment. It's kind of what we're deciding right now. So the beaver is chewing the grass quickly. So we know that it's going to be suk and it's going to be somewhere in there. I'm going to kind of set up some options here for things that could be done. So one is just suk goes right there before the verb. Another one is it goes directly in the front of the sentence. Another, let's see. And this is the thing I was thinking of right now. I don't know if this works. Is this a... Is that like an infinitive form?
Sorry, I was making some notes because I have a potential idea brewing, but I want to make sure it's a good idea before I propose it.
Okay, thunto is an infinitive form. Okay, so...
Oh, right, because we just used the...
Yeah. And then... and then I'm just going to take one of these because its placement is variable, but another option is that there is some sort of derivation that we add to this to make it an adverb.
Okay. I also have a potential idea that you may hate.
Wow, Logan says beavers can't see color at all. Good to know. Okay, an idea you may hate. I would love to hear it.
Okay, so in their regular form, when it's just noun adjective and you don't need a partitive form, the adjective appears as is in its adjectivy state. Mm-hmm. And so, sale, salut suk, nothing special about that. Well, except the fact that the noun has to be in the partitive. If it needs to be all in the partitive because it's either the object of a postposition or it's working with one of our articles, the adjective actually takes another derivation that turns it into a nominal adjective, meaning the fast one in this case. Then it can take the partitive suffix. And I don't know whether it would be a prefix or a suffix more naturally to say like this thing, like something generic that just turns an adjective into a noun, meaning the fast one, the fast thing, the whatever. I don't know if it would make more sense for it to be a prefix or a suffix, but then the partitive can't be added until that's made into a noun first. And so effectively the core of it, and it would need to be super short so that way it's not like really cumbersome. But the long and the short of it is suk itself is an adjective, but when it's needed in the partitive for the grammatical construction, it turns into the fast one.
That's really interesting. So in other words, like essentially adjectives can't really participate.
Right.
That's the distinction. It's an interesting idea.
Because then we could have another affix that turns an adjective into an adverb, where again, at its core, it's just an adjective. But then we could have some derivations that do some cool things to adjectives, allowing them to be used as the subject of a sentence or as, a noun or in the partitive or as an adverb.
Yeah, I like that idea. At least half of it. I want to consider whether we could just these things could be adjectives or adverbs at their base.
I think with the location, the tutu sukna, if we did that location with the bare adjective being zero derived as an adverb, I think that that would really work, because nothing else would be, like you would never confuse the adjective for the manner adverb form if it's situated in that location. And there would be no motivation to further market if it's situated in that location, because there would be like, it's obvious what it's doing there. If it were outside, so like before the thuthu, there is a possibility where you have like an intransitive verb and you've got your subject adjective form and then the verb
That's
phrase
true.
thing, where then it could be ambiguous whether it's, the quick beaver is chewing versus the beaver is chewing quickly.
Yeah.
There could be confusion. So I like the sandwiched one for the adjective to just be bare form.
Now, that is, I wanted to single out this one, and this is the one we're talking about right now, because there are two different interpretations. One of them is the beaver is chewing the grass quickly, but the other is the beaver is quick to chew grass. Because, of course, this, oops, wow, for some reason seeing that not bolded in italics gave me a very distinct flavor memory. Specifically the type of mushroom chicken that I would get at Beijing Express in the Huntington Beach Mall in the very early 90s. Anyway,
If I mention that I love his brain,
it's
he's ignoring me.
I'm glad you do. I'm very lucky. Does it have to be marked with something if it's just the subject of an intransitive verb? I don't think it does, right?
I don't think so. No, because Pooh is sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this right here, this sentence is the beaver is fast. Yeah, salai sukna, right? And so this could be interpreted as the beaver is chewing the grass quickly, but it also could be like the actual sentences, salai sukna, the beaver is a fast one, or is fast. And then this is just, essentially this is a phrase, to chew the grass.
I don't know that semantically it would ever make a huge difference. And so, like, I think it's cool to actually say, like, we would in English be more likely to say the beaver is chewing the grass quickly. Mm-hmm. But the actual thing that's going on here is that, the beaver is quick to chew the grass. The beaver is happy to chew the grass. So that would be like for happily. Thinking of all the kind of manner adverbs you can get, like, is there a huge difference between saying you're doing something xly versus you are x to do something?
Yeah. When you introduce something like happy, there is a distinction in English, because the beaver chews the grass happily is just describing something that's going on. The beaver is happy to chew the grass could potentially describe something that he is going to do in the future, or that the beaver is going to do in the future.
But here that would be taken out because of the verbal particles.
That's true.
Like the verb itself is marked with na, and so that tells you how to interpret the rest.
Oh, hang on. Logan has an update. Apparently I misremembered it. It's actually unknown if beavers can see colors at all. But either way, they have really crappy vision overall. Well, that I didn't know.
Hey, fun thing. I found a video on Instagram that I shared with David where a little beaver was riding on like a parent beaver tail. So it's like you see this beaver walking into frame, and then like as the beaver keeps walking, you realize that the tail looks a little bit wonky, and then you look closer and it's because there's a baby beaver like just sitting on top of the tail, going for a ride. It's like little wagon, just attached.
Oh man, well, Dark Horse came up with a really good idea that would cause us to need to have a way to distinguish these two. Because I like that. Quick to chew the grass, jumping to conclusions.
I mean, why would we need? It's just something that you can say that's an idiom that, like, in context, you would know whether it's the idiomatic or the literal. The same way that, I mean, you can literally kick a bucket, and if I say, "Oh man, David totally kicked the bucket," like maybe I mean you kicked it over, and like that doesn't mean anything, even though like it could be the idiom, but like in context, you're gonna know which one it is.
I suppose. I think this one's a little different since it's more a distinction between two syntactic structures, as opposed to just an interpretation of an idiom versus not. The syntax is the same for kick the bucket if it's literal or not. But I really like this, and I think that we should at least start here and then move on from here. So I love both ideas. So I like the ideas of this adjective. If it's going to occur in the partitive, it must be turned into a noun. And so I think we should move forward with that. And I also like this. So we're just going to put this example right here and leave it, come back to it. I think that's pretty clear what that means.
Okay.
Hope. But yeah, let's jump back to adjectives and discuss derivation, because you're right. If this is going to happen, it needs to be short.
And then comparative, because it is very common to use something of a verbal nature to say like to exceed or surpass. We could say like partitive adjective of the tall ones, the beaver surpasses.
Mm-hmm.
It, whatever. So we could do that, or we could use the like changing tall into grammaticalizing that as like the beaver is tall fast, to be like is really fast.
Oh, I wanted to use big.
Big. I mean big.
But maybe
tall was just the one that we had created. That's right.
Maybe that could be the pole comparison.
Oh, that could be, because then that could give us some time to brainstorm some ideas. And and actually, if we get enough done here, we could then have actual examples. So like maybe we could come up with a form for big as well, so that way we could use real forms in the examples.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think that affects voting, is when like one option has all the real forms and another option is like, well, we still need to create this.
That is an interesting question. Somebody needs to do a meta-analysis of all the polls that we've ever done and see how well those with yet to be created forms fare. Okay.
Yes.
But so for this,
now in my little notes here, I of course was like, oh, stick, that's like, like that could be thing or whatever, and it could be generic, but we don't want to use that because that's also the source of our singulative. So that would be like kind of over relying on that key showing up quite a bit. My question for you, David, is logically, does this make more sense because it's head final? It would make more sense as a suffix, right? So it would be like tall one, but no, because the adjective, if it's supposed to be describing one should go first.
yes.
So it's a prefix.
Yeah, and it could be that since this is presumably a construction that doesn't rely on the partitive, and it's an actual adjective modifying a noun construction, which is kind of rare, and it's so old that it could just be a prefix. So we just need a prefix.
So what if the prefix, you'll have to remind me if this is possible given our phonological constraints. Would it be possible to have something that would reduce to an u in front of a consonant and a wa in front of a vowel? So that way it's just like usale, well, sale is a bad example, umat, usuk, but then if it were like at, you could just get wat. So that way it's, either adding a tiny little syllable or just adding a consonant.
Let's take a look and find out. I like this potentially because it gives a reason for this. What's the word for this? This liaison to show up, which
Oh,
we
yeah,
haven't seen a lot
yeah.
of. So that's cool. Let's remind ourselves how we get W.
I am apparently very hungry.
Pretty sure it's foo, right? No, that's how we get it. How do we get W? No, is it voo? That's how we get it. So if we had a form that was like this, oof.
So if we had a form that's, would it make more sense for it to be woo or oov?
It could be U, V, or W, depending on the following vowel.
Oh, because it's got to be followed by
Yeah.
a rounded vowel for it to be va. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so. And I don't know if that's in the proto. It is in the proto. So oddly enough, it would show up as W before. No, it still shows up as a V. So it's the.
If we just get like an E?
Hold on a sec. No, because that shows up as a V. It's only going to be U. Yeah. There's our ooh.
Oh my God.
But
Ooh.
that's funny. Then shouldn't either this one, sorry, shouldn't either that or that show up as W? It feels like one of the two of those should show up as W. Either it changes to W in front of a proto-round vowel, or it changes to W in front of a modern round vowel. Like one of those two should be W, shouldn't they?
The fricative lenition happens after the diphthong reduction. So ua becoming, that's non-round, right?
Yeah, but that's round. The O is.
And so
That's what that one should be turning into W. How about
yeah, that one should be a W.
what the heck?
Ua should be, oh wait, ua is unround. Au.
Yeah, but this
Okay.
one.
Yeah. Au should be wo. Uwo.
All right, I'm gonna trace changes here.
Because 13 is VV simplification and 16 is fricative lenition.
It's called fricative lenition, you say?
Yeah.
There it is. Oh, this rule is written wrong.
Because they're in the protoform, u is the only round vowel, but because the diphthong simplification happens first, we actually have o and then also e as well.
Yeah.
So like IU, if you put IU as after
Yeah,
the v,
and I
that should
did.
be oo woo. Oh God, that's awful. Woo woo.
Can we put
You sure we want to do this?
can we put vowel plus round? Like, does that work?
If it's defined as a feature in the Lexergy. And Graham did give me access.
I've been asking for that access.
I need to use it. But I need to figure out how to get in again. It may be an issue that my access is problematic.
How do I get rid of this?
Get rid of what, sorry? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want that there anymore.
Take away show stages?
It's not doing it anymore. I think I have to restart.
Okay, this is
And those are our only round vowels, right? U, O, U.
I think so, but like I also don't see U, O, E. Yes. I don't see vowels defined at all. And so there's not going to be, like, other than saying these are vowels, like
Lexergy just has stopped working.
Oh, did we put it through too many? I'm in the other one. Okay.
Oh.
I'm just going to put, I think.
Yeah, just put in brackets UOE. No, brackets.
Like
there
that?
You go. Yep. And then put in one of our forms. Yep.
The comma doesn't make sense.
Oh, the comma doesn't make sense.
Well, maybe it's the fact that there's a space.
Maybe it shouldn't be brackets. No, maybe you were right about which form to use. Maybe that's why this isn't working. Yep, that was why it wasn't working. I'm sorry. Lexergy was working. It even told me that there was an error down there. It was on the screen. How
so
embarrassing.
Now it comes out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. That was embarrassing. But just to show you on my screen, there was an error down here. It was a syntax error.
And you just were like, why isn't it working?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's humiliating. Okay. Okay, so then there we go. So that explains that.
But yes, as people are mentioning, if anyone really super appreciates Lexergy and you are able to show that appreciation monetarily, you can donate on Lexergy, and Graham gets benefited from that. And so I know everybody appreciates it, but if you're able to contribute, Graham does a lot of amazing work on Lexergy.
By the way, Jake is mentioning that they also wanted to pay for the tools that they were using when working on Madam Web. And I have to say, I feel that I way back in 2002, I think it was, I bought TypeTool from the Font Lamp company, which was only like $99, and I used that for a while, but I needed more powerful stuff. And so I wanted to upgrade to FontLab Studio, which I did, but I may have sneaked a free copy off the internet that I used for several years. Until I started actually using it on TV shows, and I was like, no, I need to pay for this. And that was when I bought my first copy of FontLab Studio, which was FontLab Studio 5. And it has just been absolutely incredible. I've been upgrading along the way. And really, like all the font work I've done, all the font work you've seen here that's done with FontLab Studio, just incredible. Nothing beats it. Love it. Oh, and yeah, you know what? It's not called FontLab Studio anymore. Excuse me. It's called FontLab 8. It used to be called FontLab Studio 5. They changed it. It's FontLab 8. That's the current version. All right, so we don't have proto-uv. So
oh, we do have proto-uv. It's proto.
No. Proto.
Oh, you mean like it doesn't exist in our language yet?
Yeah.
And so let's just go ahead and make it uv is the generic noun maker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we could just actually make it the number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, and we got it. And so the number 1 will be oof. Oof. It's kind of funny.
Okay, yeah, that just comes out as V.
There's Anime Fan showing up right on time, right when we start streaming at 3:30.
2 hours is too much, David.
You're right. I mean, everybody's left at this point. We can do whatever we want.
All right. So.
All right. This needs to be somewhere.
Don't we have an adjective derivation chart? The purple one?
No,
that's the orange one, I mean.
Yeah, so let's, there we got mat, that's tall, we got,
Souk.
souk.
But we totally need a vowel.
Yeah, that, and souk is,
we need big anyway.
we need 2 vowels.
Okay, because we need a rounded and we need an unrounded, correct?
Yeah.
How about av?
For
Big. If you don't like it, then that's absolutely fine. Something with for big seems good.
I want it to be small because we're going to be using it as this generic modifier, right?
Just want to use ah?
Thinking,
Oh, so au.
yeah. I think that would be kind of cute. You're saying oh.
Okay, so yeah, we don't have that yet. So go for it. So au is big. Protoform.
And now let's have oth mean something.
Oh, because oth will be unrounded.
Yes.
And so that is fine. Oth. What are we feeling for oth? An adjective. Smooth.
Smooth is what you said?
Oth, yeah.
Okay. All right, so this will be, let's see, initial voice.
In Yatla, suki means fast. Suk just must be a fast syllable.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Oh, Anime Fan is asking a forward-facing question, and that is, will there be a stream on the 4th of July? It's a Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know.
If we have our normal 4th of July, the answer is no.
Yeah, but we don't know if that's going to.
Okay. We don't know, Anime Fan, and that is a wonderful question, and we will keep you updated and hopefully have an answer by next week.
There's definitely an event, but I don't know if we will go. Okay. This needs to be black. There we go. All right, so then this is going to be ooh, hot. Usuk. And then this is going to be whoa. And this will be Vav.
Nice.
And we don't have place yet. I'm just going to delete that. We don't have quality yet.
Now, is this going to be truly generic in that it could be person or thing? Like one could be person or thing? Or is it...
No, yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
So let me see how. See if we can squeak this out. Yeah, we can squeak that out.
Yeah.
There we go. Person think. Squeak, squeak, squeak. All right. Good. And then, oh, look at that. That's funny. Remember, we actually
Ooh, bye,
do.
Jonathan.
We actually do have.
Or no, by Danielle. Jonathan was saying bye to Danielle. Bye, Danielle. Go on.
Yeah. We do have key as a suffix, remember?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
But that's on verbs.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to overuse it because then it's also our singulative.
Yeah.
And so,
all right.
Yeah. Okay. So now we can say...
Yeah, now we're going to have to go back and redo that section.
It's not redo. We hadn't really...
No, we, this part.
It's expand.
So here we go. Adjectives cannot occur in the partitive on their own. In order for an adjective to occur in the partitive, it must first be derived into a noun. The most basic nominalization. Boy.
I understand.
Yeah. The most basic nominalization strategy for adjectives is using the suffix. Nope.
Prefix.
Is using the prefix.
Uvawa.
Yeah. Which gives the adjective the basic. Interpretation.
Exactly, Jonathan. Uvawa.
Here are some instructive examples. Okay.
Oh, yes, because now we get salulumatu key. Oh, that is so brilliant.
Yeah. I like that.
That makes me really happy.
Salilumatu. Salilumatuki. That's it.
Nice. Okay. Okay, so we've got that. We've got a word for big. We've got 3 different adjectives other than big to play around with.
Mm-hmm.
We've got nouns. I think we have everything we're going to need for the poll.
Yeah.
Do you want to enter them, the adjectives, or do you
Yes,
want
I
to
do.
wait until we find out what happens in the poll? I say let's go ahead and enter them because we
no,
can
I
always
wanna
add
add-
an irregular form if something happens in a poll.
Because this is how they're going to need to look.
Oh, because they're going to need their partitive.
Yeah.
They're nominalized.
Right.
And yes, Biblaridian has been in the chat. Anime fan asked that. Smooth noises music. Nice, Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like that.
Smooth noise.
Yeah, can we write that down somewhere?
You know what? I'm going to just go up here. Because if I write it in my notes, I may never see it again. But up here, we had, here we go.
By the way, where's Bubba? He missed us creating a number.
Okay. All right. So now smooth is entered, so I'm going to put smooth on the English side. What did you enter next?
Souk.
Souk is quick or fast. Ooh. We have our first keyword. Made a little typo just because I'm used to typing in English. Instead of souk, I put suck. CK.
Got it.
All right, we got
Mat
tall.
is tall.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, that's that new thing.
The new thing. And it never works when I want it to work. It only works when I don't want it to work.
There are a lot, I think, of business types who are getting very, very excited about AI, and I think they're the only ones. And they keep implementing things that they think will just be brilliant. And the latest thing, all of the Apple suite, so this happened with Keynote and Pages and Numbers. They now have AI predictability. And so that's why when Jesse went to type ADJ, it turned into adjustable.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go ahead and enter big as well?
Kind of not. Because I didn't know if it was going to be sticking around.
But then it would just be archaic.
Yeah.
And we have been trying to enter archaic things.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
For now, I have it on the English side, if for no other reason than to have our second B word, so that way we can have one for each.
AU becomes... Oh, it just stays. Oh, okay, got it. Oh, whoops. Oh, crap. So, there.
Oh, Jonathan says we can turn it off. They found out how to turn that off the other day. I may need to turn mine off because, again, like, sometimes predictive text is helpful. Sometimes when you can't figure out why it's not inserting when you want it to insert. It's like how, like in the predictions for text messages are up top. And then you're like, oh, okay, this is a long word. So they got the word. I'm going to go up and click on it. And then for whatever reason, right before you click on it, they decide to change the options. And so then a different option goes in and you're like, that was not there when I went to go click on it. So frustrating. System settings. Okay. Oh, that's all right, Jonathan. I totally understand that. At least I know it's possible to turn it off. So that way, if I keep getting annoyed, I'll just go find it and turn it off. What are you thinking, babe? I feel those wheels turning.
I think it's too small for daily use.
Do we have reduplication in this language?
Even if we did.
Oh.
I actually don't know what would happen.
By standards, it would just be oh.
Yeah, oh.
Oh.
And it makes me want to do one of two things. One is to, come up with an entirely new word that just takes over and becomes big and large. Another is to have some sort of, not a nominalizer, but an adjectivalizer that we apply to something like whatever the largest tree of that area is. Or
I feel like oak, specifically a black oak or a red oak.
Largest trees of eastern Canada.
Like a Shumard oak. Oh, let's say Carmana giant.
Yeah, but if it's like over in the west, then what does it matter? I said eastern Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. Pacific Rim National Park Reserve, British Columbia. We need Ontario.
Okay, so I put in largest trees native to the Toronto area, and apparently in 2015, There was a Great Toronto Tree Hunt to find the largest trees in the area. Behemoth oak, cosmic red oak, another oak, a copper beech tree, an oak. I don't know what a morse. That's not. This doesn't. I don't see it saying what kind of tree. Red oak. Silver maple trees are apparently not. They don't grow quickly into large tree, but they can do this.
Whoa.
That is a silver maple tree. And a very large horse chestnut tree. But I'm guessing
Yeah, probably oak is our best bet.
oak. If our biologist friends, if you know of, and again, this is over eastern Canada, so closer to the Ontario, kind of Toronto, that area over there. What are the biggest size trees that you can get there?
It looks like it, and this is our area right there. Very interested to see these oak trees down here. Look at that.
Actually, that's an oak. Okay. I actually wonder.
Super good question, Bibloradian. And I can only answer it responsibly. So, envisioning the, destruction of all mankind. So let's say 2026.
I don't think these grow far enough north. I had an idea, but I think the farthest north that these grow, it doesn't grow as far north as Canada. So my idea, though, had been that the blackjack oak is a kind of oak, but it is known for being like incredibly tough. So like if you're trying to cut down trees and you need to cut down a blackjack, like good luck. And so I thought that could be like the biggest tree in the mind of a beaver, not because its size is big, but because it's like you're gonna like break your teeth trying to chew this tree. But it doesn't go as far north as Canada, so it doesn't matter.
No.
But they are also the trees that survive storms and et cetera, et cetera. Anyway.
Is it just an artifact of the map itself, Jake? I thought they were colored in.
What was?
Oh, I thought there were oaks on these islands in Chile, but I think it was just they were so small that they looked like they were in color.
Gotcha.
Okay, so.
But yeah, they do. These are all the trees native to the Toronto area. And I just showed, sassafras. I chose Toronto because that's a major location that's easy to Google. Not because it's exactly the location where we are.
Yeah. So then, I don't know. I'm wondering if we do this, we need to come up with some sort of a derivation, a way to get from a noun to an adjective that means like that noun. I don't know how we do that. Hello, Sarah. Sarahhan, excuse me.
Oh, Sarahhan from Toronto. Yay!
Sarahhan.
Tell us about your big trees in the area. Okay. And I'm thinking that was bracketed that way.
It could be, it's just the noun itself, and it's used as a modifier in that way. And it could be the type of thing where it's not technically an adjective. And so it doesn't occur in the type of adjectival paradigm that it usually does. So in other words, it could be a bit like fun, where technically there's no funner and funnest because it's technically not an adjective, but everybody who uses it kind of uses it as an adjective anyway. That's a really nice idea for a clause, Dark Horse, but we need to get this to some sort of affixal state. I don't see that happening without expression. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before the language had these auxiliaries developed, an adjective pretending to be an adverb would be placed directly before the main verb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there wouldn't have been an auxiliary.
Yes.
Okay. Going back to that stage, a beaver might say something chews oaky to mean it's like oak. So it's oak-like. The way that we can be like it chews salty or eats salty or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it treats oak as an adjective, so it chews oak. Without the partitive, because it's not marked as an object. It's oaky. So before they developed some other grammatical things. And so chew, what I'm saying is, could we reduce chew to a suffix, add it to oak, and have it be oaky, oak-like, and that would be big. Oakish. Another common one that languages use is body becomes like, and so we could have oak body.
Well, I want to back up. I like the idea of chew. I like the logic, but the way that would work is no. These adjectives aren't being used as adverbs. They're actually being used as verbs, or they're being used as predicates. Remember, so it's not that the beaver chews quickly. It's that the beaver is fast to chew, and so oak wouldn't be used in some sort of adverbial way. Not like that anyway, as it would be the beaver is an oak. Or it'd be its object, the beaver chews an oak. However, I do like this this idea of like this chewing, like the way that it chews becomes some sort of an adjective. It's got like an oak feel. It's kind of like the idea of mouth feel, except rather than mouth feel, it's how it feels to chew it. And I think that's really salient. Salient callback for beavers. And so the question is, if it's just a chew, if it's just this root, and this root means chew, and it's basically a verb, it's basically intransitive. And this were going to somehow become an affix, where would it go? I mean, it would have to be a suffix because this is a strongly head final, and the verbs are all coming there. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Choose oak. Feels like oak would just be interpreted as the patient in that situation for oak followed by chew. I think that was probably what gave you the idea of the adverb, oak chew.
Yeah.
On the other hand, So right, essentially. What about that?
That makes more sense. Yeah, that makes more sense.
This could also be a generic structure. X is a Y to Z. X is like
Jake,
Y.
that's our air conditioner.
Yeah, I know. Get used to that for the summer. We're probably going to have to do it because of the leaf blower. So yeah, this construction is what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And this would give us the placement that we need, which is because the placement that we were looking for was verb oak, or I'm sorry, verb.
It'd be
crap. What was it? Because it was chew that we wanted.
as a suffix, right?
Shit. Okay, hold on a sec. What is chew? Fontu?
Fontu, I think, but I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, fontu.
So this is what.
Because it would go in between.
Yeah.
And so this, if we do this, it would get reduced and it would be a verbal prefix, a grammaticalized verb prefix attaching to a noun.
Yeah, so it'd still be a prefix.
Right.
Okay.
In which this, I would imagine, we would just reduce it effectively to like thu, right? If it's going to be a prefix, either thun or thu.
It's really, really big. It just so happens that our protoform for chew is enormous.
It is, yes.
It makes it very difficult. What is this? I think that would argue for a prefix that is.
I could imagine it getting super. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, if you end up using it enough, though, like, you can really see it getting super reduced, where just the th shows up in front of a vowel.
Yeah.
Because if you're not stressing it, and all you're stressing is the kind of thu part, thuodas, thuodas, thuodas. And
so instead of, but where's the stress? The stress is on the first one. It's tuntu, not tuntu. Yeah, it is. This is another instance where this lousy protoform is coming in the way of a really good idea.
Okay, let's go back to proto stages though. If you said tonto, okay, so that's my proto form.
I'm about to bite into.
I mean it, or do we have nah? That's what. Yeah, we don't have nah yet.
Okay, what's the difference between? Oh, okay, because chew is actually chew to swallow, isn't it? Like chew up, and gnaw is just worry at something with the teeth without any plans necessarily to actually eat it or chew it up. Okay, gnaw. I like this. Thank you. This is gonna rescue this idea. Thank goodness.
Okay, because I was otherwise testing. Oops, what were some different ways this may show up? Is stress on final?
Yes.
So if you put it all together, it's no longer tuntudas, it's tuntudas, tuntudas.
Yeah, but it comes from an expression. Anyway, but we're leaving tuntu completely behind. That one's dead. Let's come up with a word for na. Just decide what we like. It's got to be shorter though.
No tuntu.
Yeah, it could actually be a proto-CV form that then gets strengthened with reduplication for modern na.
Jonathan is suggesting nah.
We don't have a proto-yeah, Patrick. In fact, we don't have any palatals at all.
We could have bai, B-A-I. A little bit like bite though.
Yeah.
About lau. Bua. Va. Av. Az.
Oh my gosh. Look at what Jake's suggesting.
Oh my god. Okay, so 10.
Only and problem with that.
It can't be an E, but it could be tin.
Yeah.
T-I-N. Or it could be tai with no N.
Yeah, tai might be good. I actually like that. I like that.
Tai?
Yeah. All right. And there's no like surprise intervocalic voicing or anything like that, right? So like if we do tai, it just comes out as tete.
Tete.
Yeah, tete.
Tete.
All right. Okay, here we go. Te. And that is
To gnaw.
I know we started there, but should this actually be the? Like, should it be a dental T? Because it's 9.
Because it's what, sorry?
9. Should it be a dental T?
Oh, and come out as the?
Yeah.
Are you okay with the strength of such a thing?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, the. Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay. Oh, whoops. Huh, you could put a bridge below an asterisk. That's cool. All right, I need to see how this comes out with the A final, E final. It was this, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Wait, hold on a sec.
AI.
Shoot, I don't remember. No, because we did this all out. We have an A final, U final, E final, C. Crap.
What were the actual suffixes that we're checking? Like first person, singular, plural, what are we checking?
We have them written down somewhere.
Well, we have them written down here. I just didn't know which ones we actually needed for the chart.
E. Okay, so in that case, it simplifies first and then it goes. So it's just A. And then for A, I, A. What happens in that circumstance? Sequence of A, I, A.
Well, I put directions in our sound changes. AIA, the first vowel drops out entirely, so IA.
And then IA just becomes A.
IA becomes A.
Yeah. So this one might not change at all. It's, yeah, it doesn't. There we go. Okay. Well, it's good to know. But I've written it down, so.
All right. And then is it the or the is the current?
It's the.
Oh, I was just asking to enter on the English side.
Yeah, I know. And it's the.
Okay. And then we got to go.
I know, but we want to finish, like, we want to actually write in the, oh, darn it, I just completely deleted the first one. Okay. And so just...
And then are you going to put that as a prefix?
Yeah, I guess we need to come up with the form for oak. We just need to... So is it just going to be TH?
Where were the notes? Oh, you took them all away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, we need a bunch of nouns to apply this to.
We may need to save this.
But so we don't forget, though. I would really like just what sounds like a good word for oak, and let's just make an adjective from it. If it starts with a vowel, then we can just put a th in front of it. What sounds like a big oak tree to you, aside from oak?
I am not doing well. Ood, odd, ugh, ooth, oob. Oh, no, it can't be diphthong coda. It could be ooah, the opposite of big.
How about al? A-L. kind of like it. And then
Bye,
thal.
Tethys.
Here we go. I'm doing it. Executive decision. It's AL. That's a noun. It's going to mean oak, oak tree.
And then thal will mean
Yeah.
big or large.
All right, there we go. I will take care of the rest.
Excellent. All right, so we made great progress, and we have plenty of nouns to fill out that chart.
Yeah, I know. I'll take care of that.
So we've got. We can also use. I guess we won't need to use it though, because it starts with a vowel. Let's say odas is grass.
Yeah.
But excellent. We have gotten places. Thank you all for sticking around. If you were able to. If you weren't able to, then, stay grammar wherever you are. Next week should be normal.
Yeah.
Ish. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.